Welcome to HMG Live, a production of HMG Strategy, your global partner helping you reinvent the future of work. Home to the HMG Strategy Top Technology Executives to Watch Awards, and also offering the HMG Marketplace, a fast, easy, safe, and efficient way to connect with the right vendors for your technology needs.
We can't be together at these events, right? But I think the next best thing is being able to connect through the marketplace.
And now, a warm welcome to today's host, Lead Principal and CEO of HMG Strategy, Hunter Muller.
Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to the 2020 Philadelphia CIO Executive Leadership Summit. I'm Hunter Muller, Lead Principal at HMG Strategy. My team and I are delighted to be here with you today. I think we have a world-class program, truly an exceptional agenda, all the way through, packed with world-class thought leaders, really tier one or A1 partners that you'll hear from, thought leadership from, as well as from CEOs from our partner companies, all the way through to a 2-hour summit to the very end. Stay with us to the very end, where we recognize one of our top technology executives that matter today. So really looking forward today to a great program. A big shout out, first up, BetterCloud. BetterCloud's one platform to discover, manage, and secure all your applications. Over 2,500 IT teams in 60 countries trust BetterCloud to centralize and automate SaaS ops, offering continuous event monitoring, quickly remediating threats, and a fully automated policy enforcement. Organizations love BetterCloud for unlocking the promise of a best-of-breed SaaS world, offering improved visibility, increased efficiency, and reduce risk. Who cannot possibly need that? That's an amazing top pick of HMG Strategy. And Okta is an amazing company, been a partner of HMG's for over a decade now, when they went public. Connect your workforce to every app, build authentication, into an app. The Okta Identity Cloud gives you one trust platform to secure every identity in your organization and connect with all your customers. Over 8,900 global organizations trust Okta to manage access, authentication, workforce identity, custom identity. A modern platform allows top companies to focus on their world changing of work, scale, and flexibility for the world's biggest ideas. Great top pick as well. And today we're running on RingCentral. RingCentral, you'll hear more from Trevor Schultz here in a minute, is an amazing company. Work together from anywhere, bring employees and customers together with the world's #1 business communications platform. RingCentral supports any mode, any device, anywhere. It's easy to use, to buy, easy to manage, secure, reliable, and open. Over 400,000 global customers and partners globally trust RingCentral in their search for the world's easiest meetings platform. As well, in addition to BetterCloud, Darktrace is a founding partner of the HMG Marketplace, Avanti, Okta, Rimini Street, and RingCentral again as well. All great partners that are supporting today's summit, the HMG model, and really appreciate your reaching back to them when they reach to you and set up a 30-minute meeting to learn more. And give a shout out to the Philadelphia SIM chapter and my good friend, Larry Bilker. Larry's EVP and CIO at Pyramid Health. Larry, great to be with you here today. And again, thanks for the support of the Philly chapter, and welcome to the program.
Always. Thank you, Hunter. And apologize for not having the video. Had to have some network challenges here in the southern portion of the United States right now. But yeah, so thank you all for joining this afternoon. It's a beautiful day on the East Coast in the United States. I know we have people from all over joining. And for the Philadelphia SIM crowd, thank you all for joining this wonderful event. And Philadelphia SIM is made up of about 280 active members right now. We're still running programming about every 2 weeks, which is kind of amazing. Despite COVID, we have very active participation. And we run fundraisers to help support a charitable foundation called PhiSim, which helps teach technology to children in the greater Philadelphia area. And it's just an incredible group. If you are not a member and you're here with HMG today, we'd love to have you and gain some participation from you. Anything else, Hunter, did you want me to focus on, or we can get to that a little bit later?
Yeah, hey, Larry, isn't it just an amazing time to be a technology professional? Isn't it the best time ever to be a technology professional?
It's certainly a challenging time to be a technology professional, but I actually agree with you. I think it's a great time to be a technology professional. We get to show our capabilities, our worth, our ability to be flexible, adaptable, and be able to really take on change head on. And that's the biggest thing I think that most people have adapted to over the past, call it 6 to 9 months in the face of this pandemic that's going on around the world.
Hey, Larry, thanks so much again for your partnership and being a supporting player in the HMG network. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you very much, Hunter. We'll see you in a little while.
Awesome. Hey, next up, Mark Taylor is the CEO of SIM International. Mark, great to see you.
Hey, Hunter, great to see you. Great to see you as well. It's a great day here in Austin and a great day in Philly as well. Thanks so much for putting on the event again. Good long partnership with you and the team in Philly. And Larry and the leadership team in Philadelphia have built really a vibrant leadership community. And as Larry just said, they've really maintained a really high level of connectivity and engagement even through the COVID environment. And really just doing a great job. So my hat's off to him, Hunter, and thank you again for continuing to invest in the SIM community and specifically SIM Philly. What a great partnership.
Yeah, SIM's a great organization. I'm a proud member of over 20 years. So happy you could be here, and thanks for your support, Mark.
You bet. Thank you, Hunter. Have a great one.
Great. We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Hey, one of our partners, Zendesk, is a great partner over the years, and we have a little survey here. If you click in the chat, you can download the survey. And if you download the survey, we'll enter you into a raffle. You will potentially donate $1,000 to your favorite nonprofit or charity. It's really all about creating a culture of empathy in uncertain times. This is the last day of the survey. Really appreciate your active engagement there, and you'll get a copy of the report here in about 2 to 3 months. Big shout out to our marketplace founding partners of the past 4 months. We've launched the HMG Marketplace. It's difficult, you heard Nicole Egan, to meet net new partners and ideas in this pandemic that we're all going through. But if you click on the homepage, HMG Marketplace, you'll be sent right to the back end into the marketplace, and you can learn more about some amazing companies, their thought leadership case studies, as well as happy clients, and potentially, of course, set up a meeting. And we're doing a little pop-up quiz here in terms of helping us refine the marketplace. If you could give us some insight, what is your organization's specific technology need now? That would be really helpful. And hit submit, and we'll tabulate those results later. And then later, stay tuned to the top technology executives that matter recognition program. We have one recipient here today. We've put this program on jet fuel as we're rolled across the country. We've been doing it for over 12 years and pretty excited about the news there. So let's jump into our first interview here. First up is J.R. Tsort. J.R. is the CISO of Darktrace. J.R., welcome to the program.
Thanks, Hunter. Great to see you again.
Hey, always good to see you, my friend. You know, we are in some unusual time here, right, in this pandemic, and Darktrace really is one of those companies that's right on the leading edge of redefining the protective fabric of the enterprise, protecting the enterprise, keeping it safe and secure. A little bit about Darktrace, JR, at a high level, why you decided to come to Darktrace, and a little bit about your career. You were a Fortune 50 CISO for a very powerful technology company.
Yeah, I did. I did the bulk of my career and my growing up at Micron Technology, and got some fantastic opportunities there on a multinational stage, primarily around intellectual property protection. And throughout that experience, obviously, you know, insider threat is very concerning. Intrusions by advanced actors is a big challenge. So Darktrace was one of the technologies that we used to deal with that problem and kind of look at it from a different way. And if you think about how to deal with insider access and insider theft, you can't just block all the traffic because they need data to do their jobs. So the challenge is to understand what normal data access looks like, and then let's focus in on what's abnormal, and be able to look at it from that lens made Darktrace a really interesting addition to the toolkit. And I fell in love with the tech, and so when the time came, I got a chance to join the Darktrace team, and I jumped at it. So I work hand in hand with Nicole, who I know that you have a close relationship with, and I spend a lot of time with customers here in the U.S. and working through their security strategies.
So thanks, JR. When you think about when the pandemic hit and everything changed, the threat landscape changed dramatically as we went to a work from home scenario. What did Darktrace do to pivot to help its clients stay safe and protected?
So there's things we did in the immediate short term, in spring and early summer of this year, and that was really just reaching out and adding additional eyes for those folks to help them watch their network. So we have a SOC team, we have a team of analysts that will monitor our customers' environments globally. So that's the first thing we did, was just reach out and add additional services at no cost to those folks to help them get through the initial change. On a longer term strategy, we also pivoted our product set in a couple of ways, and really being forward looking about how operating models are going to be changing in a remote work and hybrid work environment going forward. So we've really focused a lot of our product and services going forward around being able to cover an enterprise's data set, whether it's on-prem or in the cloud or email, or all of the above, and being able to bring all of that intelligence back into a single place for action to be taken and analysis to be done is a key part of our strategy going forward.
Organizations and companies all over the world are still navigating through this digital and cultural transformations, both internally and externally with their customers. What are you seeing across the globe, across your customers? What's the most unique or interesting thing in terms of risk profiling organizations at this point?
Almost everyone is doing some serious thinking about remote access and remote working models going forward. They are either doing some duct tape and baling wire today to get through to some future state where they can get back to the office, or they're making decisions that they don't need the office to the same extent they needed it before, and they really need a more flexible remote access model going forward. And so almost everyone is having this kind of conversation. Some are farther down the path in terms of digital transformation and zero trust infrastructures, but that's really the conversation that comes up again and again and again. Is they want to do more with cloud, they want to change how they think about cloud, they want to change how they think about mobile, and all of this has risk and security implications, and that's where it's a large part of the conversation that we played in, is helping them think through that change in working model, and then how to think about traffic visibility and user visibility, and understanding what's going on in the security boundary.
I want you to talk a little bit more about what makes Darktrace truly unique in terms of its self-learning AI.
Darktrace's approach, from its founding, was around unsupervised machine learning at its core. So it was always based on kind of math and ML and AI philosophies. And the intent is a realization that preventative external controls that we've been using for the past 10 or 20 years were failing. So Darktrace was founded on principle of assuming breach. And this was back in 2013, 2014, when it wasn't quite as popular to say such a thing, but assume that someone's in your environment. How then would you detect and understand that that's going on, and then take action to disrupt it? And so with an unsupervised machine learning model, we look at understanding normal, much like the human immune system. We want to understand normal and then surface those things that are anomalies. We've been doing that very well for a lot of years, and the company grew very quickly doing that on an on-prem network. So now over the past couple of years, we're pivoting that core technology to also bring in context from cloud, email, endpoints, mobile, so that we can provide a full picture and full anomaly detection, whether that data sits in a SaaS or in a on-prem network or database. regardless of where the data is or where the users are, it's important for an organization to understand what that normal looks like.
What do you think's next? What's the next big thing?
Well, for us, you know, we're definitely moving forward with customers in terms of moving to zero trust frameworks and you know, different access models. But we're also thinking about different things we can do with the data that we already have, and thinking more about predictive risk as opposed to just looking at what's happening in real time. And so that's where I get pretty excited as I've lived through a lot of these problems before. How might I do a rapid analysis across my network to understand from a mathematical and statistics perspective where my likely weak points are going forward, and be able to do some things preventatively and proactively to lower my risk in those areas. And so being able to think about using data in different ways is where I get really excited about the future.
And when you think of the CISO role, partnering with the CIO, where are the gaps, and how can a CISO and a CIO do better together?
Well, I learned some time ago, it's really important for those two roles to have a tight working relationship, and maybe sprinkle in the general counsel as well. Together, especially in this last year and probably the next couple of years going forward, as business is being taken through digital transformations, whether they want to or not, it's imperative for the CIO and the CISO to have a close working relationship, to be able to surface remote access and hybrid access IT operating models that are safe and secure and managing risk appropriately with business appetite moving forward. So it's a great opportunity for those two roles to be working together with their business stakeholders to define what that future model looks like.
Hey, JR, thanks so much for coming on the program, and really appreciate your support. How can people reach out to you and the folks at Darktrace and get engaged?
Well, obviously the website, darktrace.com, is available. You're also, I'm happy to chat with folks on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, feel free to reach out, or reach out through the HMG team as well.
The HMG Marketplace. Hey, great to see you.
Thanks, Hunter. Appreciate it. Take care.
See you soon. Thanks again. Hey, next up, we have John Rossman. John's the managing partner of Rossman Partners. John is going to talk to us about what would Jeff do? And we only know this when people say now in the world, what would Jeff do? Everyone really knows what Jeff you're talking about. John, welcome to the program.
Great to be here, Hunter. Thanks for welcoming me.
Yeah, sure. Where are you coming in from?
I am in Bellevue, Washington, so just east of Seattle here, so on the other side of the country.
Excellent. Hey, so when you think of Amazon, what comes to mind now?
Well, I think now what comes to mind is just an incredible conglomerate business, right? But they're not the first conglomerate business. But I think what's unique about Amazon is that these pieces have real operating synergies and leverage, and they use each other's stuff. And so that concept of reuse, building capabilities that get reused by others, both internally and externally, has always been a component of Amazon, and that's led them into many interesting businesses. So I talk to a lot of companies about, hey, becoming a platform, and really the essence of where Amazon's platform strategies came from was building tools that we could use and then letting others use them too. And by letting others use them, that was a forcing function to help make them actually better tools. And that really got the platform flywheel going. And that's really where AWS came from.
I mean, how did it scale so quickly? When you think back in 2008, it was a $25 stock, and it was an online book store, right? How did it go from there in 2008? And I don't even know what the revenue was. You probably remember, to where it is now. I just heard this morning that Jeff last week sold $3 billion, that's with a B, of stock.
Yeah, I think that was like a sliver. So I was at Amazon for 4 years. I launched the marketplace business. But, you know, the question was, I think really it's around patience, right? And striving to get every transaction perfect as possible, and then being relentless at adding new capabilities, reducing frictions, letting the market develop, expanding through partnerships. So the business I ran, as you mentioned, in 2002, 90% of the business was books, music, video. I launched the marketplace business in 2002. We launched 14 categories over the next 2 years, but we let those then develop. And it was really the combination of Prime, which is the best loyalty program ever invented, and then FBA coupled with the marketplace business, and then just letting it mature, right? And delivering to customer promise. And that's the short story of how Amazon grew.
Interesting. You know, when we going back to the book, think like Amazon would. What are hidden ideas in the book that you'd like to highlight today?
Well, one in particular is around this concept of reducing friction, right? Everybody, when they're thinking about innovation, like they want to be doing business model innovation and all that, and that's important. But the everyday motion of what are we asking our customers to do that in an ideal world we wouldn't ask them to do? What's every customer contact, every customer complaint, every extra step that we ask them to do, and how do you eliminate it, right? Get to the root cause to eliminate it. That's really the essence of Amazon's journey. Bezos has said that over 80% of all Amazon's innovations have come from operational excellence and this notion of reducing friction. And I think that gets overlooked in organizations, which is always pushing to make whatever you do better and better and better. And that both delivers results for that capability, but also it creates a culture that is always challenging the status quo. And so there's a couple of different benefits to that. And then the other one that I would just mention is, you know, while Amazon is the most financially aware organization I've ever been at, they don't prioritize profitability as highly as most other organizations do. The customer experience and growth far outweigh profitability in any kind of decision rubric that they have. And I think that like kind of just switching some of your priorities around is another real secret sauce there. And then I think the other one I'd mention is just so many of Amazon's innovations aren't really a technical innovation. They're really doing things that enhance the customer experience and upset the industry, right? So, you know, the Wayback Machine here, right? Amazon was the first company that ever sold a used item on the same detail page as a new item. The market hated that and everything. Amazon allowed true customer reviews, right? Authentic customer reviews. Everybody hated that, or the industries hated that, right? Amazon enabled search inside the book. The publishing industry hated that. But in each case, Amazon said, we think because this improves the customer experience, because this is better for the customer, we're willing to be misunderstood and go forward with it. And guess what? Now today, those things don't sound or innovative to us at all. They really reset the bar. And I think that continuing to look at, you know, at Amazon, we call it start with the customer and work backwards. And that mindset of really digging in deep to the customer experience and challenging why it happens the way it does is the essence of great innovation.
Hey, John, how do you help clients in your practice?
So I work today in kind of two veins. I get invited out to talk to a lot of teams and leadership organizations. And really it's a conversation about how do we change the status quo, right? Using the principles, the mechanisms, the tools, you know, from Amazon. And then I work with teams and leaders, usually kind of pressure testing ideas and helping to set them up for better test and learn quick iteration approaches versus big monolithic approaches. And I do some other kind of due diligence types of engagements with clients today and everything too.
You know, it's, can you actually compete with Amazon, John? I mean, how do you compete with them?
Oh, I think, my gosh, the examples in every single one of their businesses where there's healthy competition, like you can go through the litany. I think what is difficult to really add up is like all the businesses that Amazon is not only in, but where they're really good at it, you know, and everything. And I think that is a unique combination. That's what makes them such a tricky organization, and why, you know, if we look at, you know, kind of how to keep a healthy competitive balance in our country, Amazon's unique because they don't have a dominating position in any single category of the business, but the horizontal nature of it and the way that they connect things together, what they understand about it is like, that's pretty unique and scary. But in every business, there's healthy competition and you always can compete. I think really focusing on the customer versus competition is another, like, that's from the spirit of Amazon. And I would advise that on anybody's, like, be aware of your competition, but focus on your customer, and you'll do just great.
Hey, John, in the book, there are 50 and a half ideas to becoming a better digital leader. What's the half idea?
Yeah, so the half idea is really, it's at the end, and it's like, hey, I've given you 50 authentic tools, mechanisms, strategies that we used at Amazon to get our results. And the half idea is like, but, you know, change is up to you, right? Like, what are you willing to do personally? New habits, new approaches, new mindsets to help make change happen in your organization. And the more I work with senior leaders, the more I go like, hey, we talk about like digital transformation and organizational transformation. And most people interpret that like, well, something's going on out there. It's really about personal change, right? And especially as leaders, what different habits are we willing to put in place, I think, is the real unlock to a number of the things that we're trying to do.
John, it's a real exciting time to be a tech leader, isn't it?
Oh, my! It's more exciting than ever. I wish I, you know, was 30 years younger and had a full, you know, career in front of me, because I think the pace of change and the inhibitors of trying something new are so significantly less than what they used to be. And so you've got to get into this kind of test and learn, test and learn, test and learn, launch mindset within organizations. And that is something that big companies really struggle with, is understanding that micro failure approach to innovation.
Hey, John, thanks for coming on the program, and everyone's going to receive a copy of your book.
That's right. So reach out. I hope you enjoy it. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, LinkedIn, or john@rossmanpartners.com. And I hope everybody has a great day.
Awesome. Good to see you, John.
Hunter, good to see you. Thank you for again.
Yep, likewise.
Take care.
Next up, we have David Plytis. David's the founder and CEO of Better Cloud, the impact of accelerating SaaS adoption on the modern IT team. David, great to see you.
Hey, Hunter, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, David, you're a bit of a visionary, right, in our industry. Share with us your vision when you started Better Cloud some time ago.
Yeah, so it's been exactly 9 years now since I started Better Cloud. And when I look back 9 years ago, what I started seeing was enterprises really moving to cloud-based productivity applications, SaaS applications in general. And that was early days. I mean, you rewind 9 years ago, there was no Zoom, there was no Slack, there was no Office 365 9 years ago. And but we could see people, Salesforce, G Suite, you started seeing the beginnings of this move to SaaS applications. And you know, for 9 years, we've been watching the market. We've been tracking it every year. How many SaaS applications are in use in our customers' environment? Every year. And in the last year, it has just, as everyone would imagine, it has just exploded. I mean, we were 5 years ago, average number of SaaS applications in an environment, in a company was about 8. When you look today, it's 80. And so in 5 years, it's gone up 10x. And even in the last year, I mean, I'm sure most of the people here today feel this in their own organizations, just the number of SaaS applications, the reliance on SaaS applications, and maybe even more so the trust of SaaS applications. When I started Better Cloud, what I kept hearing from people is, we're not going to trust these applications with our mission critical data, with our IP, with our this, with our that. And now you look at where things are, and I would say in boardrooms, people are saying, when are you going to get your this data into the cloud? Because that's actually where it's more secure, where it's going to live on forever, where it's accessible to anyone. So it's been a really interesting 9 years, and the last year has been, it's just, this is not the way you'd want to see that tipping point occur, but we've definitely crossed the chasm, as you and I have talked about a lot.
You know, when you think about the pandemic and the world crisis that we're all going through, and the whole, if you will, the whole enterprise architecture that you all support with Better Cloud, what's uniquely different now, just today, and your go-to-market and how you help your clients?
Well, I think just to start, I mean, what is different now is that our customers who are IT leaders, CIOs, VP of IT, CISOs, what has happened is over the last 8-9 months, they've really become responsible for every interaction that their team members, their colleagues, their employees, their users are having. I mean, every single interaction that's had now by someone in a company, pretty much everyone is going to be enabled, empowered, in some way done over technology. And so I think that the role of IT leaders has changed. And like you're talking about, this is an exciting time. It's a scary time for some. It's a high pressure time for everyone. But the opportunity is massive, because now CIOs, the people on this today, the attendees, you are responsible for every interaction. Everything that used to happen in a conference room, everything that happened in passing in the kitchen, everything that happened when someone would travel to a customer, all those things that were not really governed by technology or empowered by technology now are. And so for Better Cloud, we feel like our purpose in the world and the opportunity for the change that we can make and empower our customers is massive, because now we're really enabling people to do their work and to do their best work. So, you know, for us with Better Cloud, there's 3 kind of big things that we do. The first thing we do is we help people discover which applications they have in their environment, which SaaS applications, how much they're spending, who's using them. We let them build in sanctioned, unsanctioned application lists so they can build policies around them. So that's our discover piece. That's usually where we start. Then we allow people to automate all the user management, the onboarding, the offboarding, the midlife cycle management, all the configuration management. We let them automate that, because against this sprawl of applications, it's basically impossible to do that manually. So we automate that. And ultimately, our secure module allows people to see what data lives where across which application, how it's being shared, what content is in it. And so we help people keep that data secure. So those are really the 3 areas that we help our customers. And again, like I said, I mean, we this year, when this pandemic started, the usage of our product probably went up 400%, 500% in a matter of weeks. And for us, this was our time to step up and help our customers who are stepping up in their own right.
You know, I'm also really intrigued with this idea of or concept of SaaS ops. You want to talk a little bit more about SaaS ops and why that matters?
Sure. Well, love to talk. I could talk about SaaS ops forever. You know, SaaS ops, you know, I think for us, I think about it as really a good comparison is DevOps. You think about AWS, it launched in 2006. 2009 is the first time anyone ever used the term DevOps. And now over 10 years, look at how this space, DevOps, has evolved. SaaS ops is the same thing, except for it's at the application level, it's the corporate technology, it's the SaaS applications that are being used in an environment. So DevOps, which is on the back-end infrastructure side, SaaS ops is on the front-end technology side, the applications that users use to do their work. And essentially, it's the same thing. New paradigm for infrastructure where we're running on AWS or GCP or Azure, same thing. Now it's a new paradigm for the front-end technology. We're not running on Exchange on-prem. We're running on Office 365. We're not running one homogeneous stack. We're running this best-of-breed stack of Slack and Zoom and Teams and Dropbox and Box. And so SaaS ops is the practice around managing, securing, discovering, really doing everything required around this new paradigm of SaaS best-of-breed environments being the standard now.
And then just to click down one more time, and Better Cloud does what in that environment?
So what we do is we help people actually follow that practice, that new practice of SaaS ops, by discovering, managing, and securing their best-of-breed SaaS environment. So that's what we do. Yeah, it's interesting. The SaaS ops space is growing so quickly. You know, first time the term was used was probably a couple of years ago. And now Forrester just came out with a report about SaaS ops as a new category. Gartner just came out with a report about SaaS ops and SaaS management platforms. And you start looking at LinkedIn, and if you can see the trend line of titles, of SaaS ops titles, it's going through it was 10 people 3 years ago. It's thousands of people today. And so it's really interesting to see this category emerge. And again, I think this year especially, it's accelerated. That momentum has accelerated.
And what's exciting, Dave, you always seem passionate about it. What is it about this space that you're so passionate about?
You know, for me, what I've always thought, I've spent my entire career in SaaS. I've spent my entire career in B2B SaaS in one way or another, starting one of the first ever cloud PBX businesses to a cloud consulting company to Better Cloud. And so my entire career has been about how do you enable this new way of working, and for a long time, and even before people were using that term, SaaS, cloud. And for me, that's why I'm so passionate about this. I feel like there's so many ways for IT to reduce the friction, increase the collaboration, increase their employee satisfaction. I mean, I just, there's so much of that opportunity, and I feel like we can make that happen for IT. And I think also the fact that I've been doing this for 9 years, and I've been waiting for this tipping point. I've been waiting for this moment in time, and it's just amazing. I mean, even on these sessions we've done together for, you know, this year, when I'm listening to people talk on the different panels and everything, this was not this digital transformation that people were talking about was like 3-year journeys that people were on, and people did it in a matter of 3 months. You know, it was this 3 days, 3 weeks in some cases. So I'm passionate about what the opportunity lies ahead for us, for our customers, for IT leaders, for the end users who actually use these technologies. It's amazing time, really. It's and all of it is it's like rising tide lifts all shift for everyone, you know, who's involved.
David, great to see you, and congratulations on this huge success. And we're really happy and proud to be to be involved with you, and looking forward to many more engagements. Take care.
Thank you, Hunter.
Be good. Next up, we have our panel, Overcoming Strategy Execution Challenges in a World of Constant Change. First up, let's have Jennifer Greenman. Jennifer's the CIO of Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Jennifer, great to see you. And what is the Cancer Treatment Centers of America all about, and your role?
Sure. So thanks again, Hunter, for an opportunity to attend and participate in one of the panels. So Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we are a national network of hospitals and clinics that are exclusively focused on providing exceptional patient-centered cancer care. We do have a hospital in the Philadelphia region, very proud to serve the patients in the community of Philadelphia. In my role, I lead our enterprise IT division, which encompasses all of our application and technology services for the hospitals and clinics across the country.
Excellent. And what's on your mind right now, coming in, we're in month 9, say, in the US in the pandemic, what's happening now, and what's your vision for the future, the next 6 months?
Sure. Well, we have definitely, shifted and certainly made significant investments in resources, technology to support the delivery of care outside of the bricks and mortar environment. So shifting more to virtual care. And that is, of course, a very common trend across the healthcare industry. I'm proud of what we were able to accomplish. As I often say, I think to you and others, the technology is the easy part. It's really a major shift in operating model, and it's a major shift in care delivery. And we were able to partner very effectively with our business, with our clinicians to deliver that and actually shift a lot of our care to virtual visits at the onset of the pandemic. And of course, we continue to provide great care, both on-site and virtually to our really fragile and important patients.
Excellent. We'll circle back to you. Stay with us. Thank you. Next up, we have Larry Bilker. Larry's the EVP and CIO of Pyramid Health. Larry, you with us?
I'm here, Hunter.
When you think about this pandemic we're right in the middle of, what's been the biggest learning of this year's events?
Well, there's not just one, there are so many. The biggest learning, I think, is to be flexible, adaptable, listen to the needs, and then, an excuse for this extreme reference, but execute like hell, as far as you can, as fast as you can, as with a high level of quality, as best as you can. The world was changing on a dime. Every hour, every minute, there was something new popping up, and you had to react and change. And you didn't want to go like off of your quote unquote program, but you wanted to be able to, we were pushing limits really quick. Pyramid Healthcare is a behavioral health company serving about 11,000 patients a day across 90 locations on the East Coast. And we had to switch a good portion of our company to telemedicine. Going from face-to-face to telemedicine is not an easy task when everybody's used to doing face-to-face work. So you had to be extremely flexible. We had to come up with remote training and distance learning and a whole bunch of other programs extremely rapidly. And I'm talking within 24 to 48 hours coming up with the program and rolling it out. So it just that emphasizes those points about being flexible and adaptable.
Excellent, Larry. Hey, Larry, stay with us. I'll circle back to you here in just a minute. Next up, we have Craig McGrath. Craig's the Group Vice President, Global Service Delivery Support at Rimini Street. Craig, great to see you.
Hey, Hunter. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure. You know, when you think about the approaches right now on ROI in many of these projects, that in this pandemic, the ROI has got to be pretty interesting to look at. What are some best practices or lessons learned that you like to share with clients?
All right, and actually let me also give a shout out for our poll that just popped up on my screen. Looks like we're running that as well, so if people could fill that in, that'd be awesome. So look, I give two key strategies to that, Hunter. I think the first one is that we want to link the measure of project success directly to a proven return on investment that happens that same year. So my background, I came from aerospace and defense, and there we had a philosophy where you had to show the return and the project team had to own that return. And I think we need to get back to that point. I think that really helps to sharpen the mind. If you make the same people responsible for the project responsible for the return on investment, you get a lot more focus on that. The second strategy I'd say is in today's economy, consider canceling any project that doesn't give you that tangible return in the year in which you're approving it. And that's going to seem like tough talk to a lot of people, but I think ultimately we need to be able to free up the capital to focus on those things, as you've heard from some of the panelists today and some of the other speakers, that what are the key projects that really help you immediately? You can't be waiting and just, trying to achieve everything. Focus on the things that give you a real return in that very same year.
You know, Craig, that's really sound advice. I know you have some news in the AI area. Give us an update.
Yeah, so we've been getting some great press on this and a lot of questions from our clients asking about AI. And I think the reason for that is that people are really looking for practical applications of AI. I mean, AI has been kind of the latest thing for the last 30 years. We've been talking about AI solutions for a long, long time. And to be clear, we're not selling AI here. We provide support to enterprise customers. We're not selling our AI solution. In fact, what we've done is built a competitive advantage for Rimini Street. So we're not selling it. In our instance, we needed to connect the best engineer with the right case. And we need to consider a lot of different vectors, language, time zone, skills, and about 30 others there. The key takeaway from us on AI was that it's now super accessible. If you think that AI is out of reach for your organization, take another look at it. Open source was our choice. There are some great commercial products out there, and I very much enjoyed the Amazon references earlier. AWS have got a very strong play here, as does Salesforce, which is one of our partners. But there's great open source technologies for this, and you can get up and running much more rapidly than you ever would imagine. So take a look at it. I think it's one of those project areas where people can get a lot of benefit very quickly.
Craig, thanks so much. Good to see you. I'll circle back to you in just a minute. Let's introduce Michael Venera. Michael's the CIO of Independence Blue Cross. Michael, good to see you today.
Yeah, hey, Hunter, thanks. Great to be here.
Really appreciate it. You know, when you think of investments in emerging technologies that aren't critical for business today, how should we think of them right now in this pandemic when we do have limited resources?
Yeah, I mean, it's always tricky for a chief information officer. By the time something becomes critical for your business, you're often expected to, businesses want to move quickly. You're expected to have know-how, the bench strength in a certain technology, and you can't just develop that overnight. So you do have to place some smart bets on what's emerging, play some small bets, but you've got to do your research, and some of it is some of it's good, smart thinking. Some of it is a little bit of luck too in picking the right horse.
When you think of the biggest source of strategic uncertainty in your industry, how do you hedge against it?
Yeah, for us, it's really in the health insurance industry, it's a really regulatory uncertainty. A lot of it, we operate today, we're a big player in the Affordable Care Act market. The Affordable Care Act is going once again before the Supreme Court, but all could change overnight. That happens a lot in our industry. So for us, it's thinking, what are the big trends that are likely to hold regardless of all this regulatory change? So for us, a big thing is consumerism and the role of the consumer in healthcare, and that the fact that individuals are taking more and more accountability around their healthcare decisions as they bear more and more of the costs. And we don't see that changing under any different regulatory construct. So, we have to focus capabilities and resources on addressing those macro trends. And then you're safe or safer regardless of the underlying kind of policy changes.
Do the regulations really slow down innovation for you, or how quickly you can move?
They can. They certainly can. I mean, from time to time, you know, some of the regulations are more burdensome than others. I mean, I think to be fair, there are some that have maybe spurred some creativity and innovation in the industry, but so I think it's a little bit of a mixed bag.
A little bit on your leadership style, Michael. How would you describe your leadership approach?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like to really set direction and then be hands off and then course correct as needed. I think it's important, you know, not to micromanage your team. You know, they're there for a reason, and hopefully you've picked the right people to lead functions for you. So you've got to give them the space to, you know, succeed and carry out your vision or fail. And if you know they fail, then you've got to get different people in place, right? I mean, but I think that's sort of the style: set direction, hands off, course correct as needed.
Okay, great, excellent. Yep. Back over to Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, when you think of project success, there's a recent Inc. magazine percentages of big projects and initiative success. Any thoughts on that specific study in your experience?
Sure. So, yeah, so that article that you referred to actually is one that said that up to 67% of strategic plans fail, which is interesting to me and probably fairly consistent when I think about some of my own experiences. I think first and foremost, decision rights are critical. I think having clearly defined decision rights, regardless of your, you know, organizational structure, your operating model, all stakeholders need to be clear who is accountable for making decisions and who is responsible for carrying them out. And so for, you know, for those of you who aren't already familiar, there's a model out there called RACI, Responsible, Accountable, Consulted, and Informed. It's a great model for providing intentionally, for being both intentional and transparent in how we assign decision rights for major strategic plans. I think it's also important, you know, in that same article, they talked a lot about vision for the future. And I think it's important for us as leaders to be able to define that vision very clearly and outline a path by which all of our stakeholders can follow to get there. And then we need to step back. We need to step back and empower our stakeholders to move forward and give them the autonomy they need. And probably finally, and most importantly, the ability to culturally tolerate failures along that journey and look at them as learning experiences. I think that's something that's often lacking in my own experience. We know as technology leaders, as industry leaders, in fact, that successful strategic execution requires taking risks. And we need our teams to be comfortable identifying risks and making informed judgments about them and not have a constant fear of reprisals. So they need to be comfortable taking those risks and helping us to move forward, again, in a very autonomous and empowered way.
When you think of vision and getting adoption of a vision, we'd all agree on that, right? Mm-hmm. In this new work environment, it's really tough to understand, gauge how aligned your organization is, how your organization is. Jennifer, any ideas or tips there? And I'd like actually maybe the whole panel to comment on that, because I think that might be the hardest thing to figure out in this current work from anywhere or work from a hybrid environment, say.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think regardless of the working environment, whether you're all together physically, whether you're remote, you know, one of the other points, again, referencing that same article, if you want people to get on board with your vision, you have to involve them in the process. And you have to, I like the term they use, enroll them in that process toward the future, which is something that, you know, I think resonates certainly broadly with all of us. All too often, our teams don't necessarily feel engaged in the strategic analysis or planning processes. And what I've observed is that disengagement can result in some, you know, fairly counterproductive behaviors. So I think as leaders, we need to be deliberate and intentional, again, in involving our teams in defining that vision that we seek to accomplish. On a final note, I would also say that we need, as CIOs, to continue to reinforce a pragmatic approach to distinguishing hype from reality when we evaluate technologies. So, you know, in this volatile environment that we're in, there are no shortage of vendors, of partners out there that promote solutions that will solve many of our problems. And the reality is many of our business unit partners are very receptive to that. So we as CIOs, we have to continue to do what we do best. We have to listen, we have to learn, and we have to educate our organizations about the value of these technologies and meeting our business needs. Again, this has always been our job. That is not different. That has not changed with COVID, but I think that the stakes are definitely higher than they've ever been before, given this volatile economic and business environment that we're in.
Yeah, Jennifer, well said. Really great delivery. Thanks so much. Totally, completely believe exactly what you had, your key points there. You know, Larry, over to you. I think you're still on the line. When you think about the need for urgency to respond to business needs in this time of crisis, what have you learned?
Very similar to what Jennifer just said, a few points. I don't want to, take or repeat, but the biggest things is to listen and to figure out how you can factor in all these what seems like extremely urgent business needs. It's really frankly, different from any other urgent business need that pops up on occasion, but it's just the grander scale, the quantity and the scale of the rollouts and the needs these days have been just, it's like everything's 10x the time frame or the amount of resources needed to roll out things and do things. But I think Jennifer used the word be pragmatic, and I agree with that, and be prescriptive, follow your standards. Hopefully you have a strategy in place, and it's just a matter of accelerating some of those things that allow you to go.
What does winning look like for you, Larry, in this environment, for you, your team, and your company?
I mean, some of it's somewhat tactical in nature right now, is keeping everybody connected consistently with high levels of performance. And while the business is growing, and our business is growing, unfortunately, behavioral health business, mental health, and substance abuse is growing, unfortunately. But yeah, just keeping, from a technology perspective, keeping us connected, making sure that we maintain our standards. Security is paramount, and most of all, listen and communicate. Listen and communicate. That's what we've been focusing on since March and prior, but very, very heavily since March.
Excellent, sound points. Michael, back to you. When you think about this environment, your leadership style, and how do you gauge the team, that the team's engaged and that they're following the vision and they're all in?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to do a couple of things. I mean, I think one, with your broader team, you've got to engage them more than you would normally. So I've had regular management team meetings, just a half-hour check-in, just me giving an update, on a weekly basis at the beginning of kind of our, work from home, moving a little bit less, frequently, but the real thing that's missing and is difficult, the technology is easy to hold a meeting, right? The hard thing to replicate is bumping into someone in the hallway, before a meeting gets started, if you're in a conference room talking to the person next to you, that sort of informal communication is what's really hard to replicate. So you've got to sort of make the time and effort, besides the formal communications, to reach out to people, maybe people that you know and trust in the organization at different levels, and just check in with them. And how's it going? What are you hearing? How are you feeling? How's the team doing? That type of one-on-one communication is, I think, just as important as the big formal communication forums.
And someone early on in the pandemic said this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. I think it might be more like an Ironman, 2-3 years before we really get to the other side of this. Any other thoughts on that idea?
No, yeah, I mean, I think that is, unfortunately, I think that is the case, that this is going to be a long haul. I think for all of us, it's just trying to find a way to stay, sane, as we're kind of working through this, and, avoid burnout, as best as possible.
Solid points. Over to you, Craig. Big shout out to you and congratulations to Rimini Street, recently achieving 15 years in business and really disrupting legacy companies like SAP and Oracle in terms of providing service, support and services at a reduced cost, higher service level. Then those funds can get redirected in innovation. What are you most proud of, Craig, in terms of your go-to-market and how you service your customers?
Hunter, I think that it's our approach to customer service. I think too many times people leave customer service as a last thing to invest in, and we've made it central to our company. So just kind of getting that customer service going. We hit another milestone recently where we took our client sat from an already incredible 4.8 out of 5 to 4.9, which is just telling people it's not sustainable. It's just an incredible number, but it's the love that comes back from those customers when they've had those experiences. And the reason for that is it's just so different than the service you get in so many different places, whether it's banking or retail or so many other places where the service is just not great. And when you really put an effort into making that part of the culture, it pays off in a big way.
Did I hear you say love?
Yeah, lots of love, absolutely. I read comments every day, and they're just yeah, very, very lots of love there.
Fascinating stuff. I love it. Okay, great job, Craig. And I guess Doug did make it back in. Doug, hey, welcome to the session. Can you turn your camera on or dial in there? Doug, you there? Okay, when you're ready, turn your camera on if you're there. You know, thinking kind of out loud here. He's having issues again. Oh, well. Thinking out loud here. You know, so we're in this pandemic 9 months. Potentially, realistically, it could be another 1 to 2 years before things come back to normal. When you think of that long haul idea, Jennifer, this high IQ, EQ, this all of a sudden being an organizational, industrial psych leader in your group becomes really materially important, really super valuable. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think we have the, both the obligation and the opportunity to really demonstrate that we can lead through a variety of future scenarios. And, we can empower our organizations. We can empower our, in our case, our patients, certainly for many of the organizations here, customers, consumers, but we can empower them in new ways digitally that can really transform how business is done.
It's all about people, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Michael, do you want to jump in there?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I would agree with everything that's said. I would just highlight one thing that I think is an extra trick in this situation. It's one thing connecting with your current team, but another thing, particularly as this stretches on, is your team's changing. You need to bring new people into your organization. And I know I've had a bunch of people, including one person on my leadership team, start where they've never spent a day in our office because they started post-pandemic. So that sort of adds a whole new dynamic of how to introduce someone, especially a leader, into the organization and get them acclimated to not only everything that's going on in your business, but the corporate culture, get to know their teams, the dynamics. So that's just a whole new wrinkle. And I think we're all going to have to get good at that as this drags on.
I'll comment on that. We've had that situation here at Rimini Street for a long time with a fully virtual workforce, and I've had engineers describe it to me as a lonely start. They get this, FedEx delivers a bunch of gadgets, and they're starting their day, first day on the job, and there's no one around them. So trying to build those connections. I think these channels are changing and the timeframes are accelerated, but the requirements for the decision makers here remain constant. So leadership by example. Be honest and have open communications. How many times we blame communications as the problem, and then take time for the human connection. I think both Michael and Jennifer said this really well. It's not, you're not going to be meeting at the water cooler anymore at the lunchroom, but give opportunities for that banter and those discussions. You might be talking about, Friday Night Lights or, what else is going on in the world, but that's important to have that human connection, especially when people are totally remote.
Hey, Craig, are you doing any town halls or team meetings where you can bring everybody up like on a grid, like Zoom or Ring Central or any of the other conferencing platforms that allow you to see everybody kind of like all at once?
Oh, absolutely. Video is huge. Yeah, huge.
Incredible success doing things like that and doing it on a regular basis, like at least once a week, preferably. We try to do one a week if at all possible. That has helped immensely.
I'll tell you a very quick story about that on steroids. So we recently, in celebrating the 15 years that Hunter mentioned, we had this 15-hour event, and it was a Teams party. We used Microsoft Teams, and we brought people in from different parts of the world, and we flowed through the world. Started with Australia. It was 1 a.m. for me here in Dallas, and then we went through Japan, Korea, India. We had people singing, dancing, joining in from home. We had kids playing guitars while their employees were singing. We had Israel talking about this big holiday cultural weekend they had. We had a EMEA all on the line, and then Brazil came in and they were showing the different states in Brazil and the soccer teams, and then we wrapped in the US with this crazy 70s dance party that I wish I could remove from my brain. But it was very fun and good use of the tech. It's about creating those memories, just as it would be if you did an in-person event, right? If you did an in-person event, what are the memories that you're going to create? This is doing this virtually now.
Awesome.
I would
right,
say,
right on.
yeah, for my part, I would say we also have done online events, and they're really fun. I mean, you can Google online trivia, online bingo. I mean, there's really easy stuff to set up, and it's a lot of fun for everyone. It really helps to promote engagement, and quite frankly, we can do that more consistently now than we even were able to before.
So, hey, folks, closing comments. Most challenging, most interesting, but maybe the most exciting time ever to be in our industry. Jennifer, you first.
Well, of course. I mean, I think that this, again, speaking from the healthcare lens, I mean, I think this is, truly, I hesitate to, I use the word transformational, really not in an exaggerated way, but I mean, I think that this pandemic has accelerated transformation at a level that none of us have ever seen before. I mean, I think that's a pretty common observation for many and have worked in healthcare for a long time. We've been able to make, I think Michael may have said it, we've been able to make, years of progress in just a matter of days or even hours in some cases. So I think that's very exciting for us. I think we're seeing that, all the stakeholders understand now, again, the value of using digital to enable, to support our really valuable care teams in delivering patient-centered care. It's something that is, been probably a desire for a long time, and now we're really seeing everyone sort of coalesce around this concept and really organizing to make it happen effectively.
Awesome. Great job. Thanks, Jennifer, for coming on the program. Great to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Ferry, final comment?
I'm sorry, Hunter, I missed it, but it broke up on me. But what was the final?
We're closing out. Final comment on best time ever to be in technology?
Oh, yeah, what we talked about earlier. It is the, absolutely. I think it's a great time to be in technology. It's a great time to be able to show the value of IT and how IT can respond, react, communicate, and provide an immense amount of return on investment to your company, to your people, and to the world.
Excellent. Michael, you're up.
Yeah, I would just add to what Jennifer and Larry said. I mean, it's acceleration, it's value. It's really, I think all of us right in the information technology business, new technology was important, but now everyone realizes it, right? All the way up through your board, they realize the importance of things like, video conferencing solutions and just to how critical technology is to everything that you do. So it's a great time to be in the industry.
Excellent. Thanks, Michael. Craig, you're up.
All right, we're going to say shout out to all the healthcare organizations here on the panel with me and listening in, doing an incredible job. Obviously, we've got some challenging times ahead, but I think we're supporting the essential services. We're all there doing that. It is very exciting for IT. It's a great way to help people through technology, which ultimately is, I think, why many of us joined IT in the first place. So we're a great time to be helping.
Hey, folks, Larry, Jennifer, Craig, Michael, thanks so much for coming on the program. Hopefully you can stay with us through the end. Great to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next up, we have Crisis in Career, preparing for your next opportunity. Brian Anderson, President of the Judge Group, Ray Arrington, President and COO of Pearson Partners International, and Hugo Fueglein, Managing Director, CIO IT Practice for Diversified Search. Welcome, folks. Great to see you.
Hunter. Hey, Hunter.
Hello, Hunter.
Good to see you. We got Philadelphia, we got probably Stamford, Connecticut, and I think we got Dallas, right? Renee, you there, Renee?
I am, absolutely.
Hunter,
Great.
just so you know, I'm on the phone now. I apologize. My power went out, so apologize, everyone.
Hugo, no worries.
Just
We
voice
got
today.
you. Great to hear your voice. Hey, Renee, give us a high-level thought about your firm, your practice area, and what you're seeing cross-industry right now in terms of where the market's moving.
Sure, no, happy to. So just, it's great to be on the Philadelphia panel again and see everyone here. My firm is Pearson Partners. As Hunter said, we're out of Dallas, Fort Worth, but we're part of a larger global search network called IIC Partners, and a great firm in Philadelphia called Salvis and Stetson is our partner in the Philadelphia market. So we've got great feet on the ground there. My colleague John Toohey takes the lead on most tech work in the Philadelphia area, so that's fantastic. It's a really interesting time, Hunter. We've seen a lot of technology leaders, as all of you know, have to pivot hard and step up to the plate and figure out how to keep their businesses running. And as that's through the lens of, you know, someone in the search community, it's been very interesting to see people have to dig deep into their personal qualities and their character to really be able to succeed well during this time. And just as a, you know, we've seen a lot of activity through this year so far. It'll be really interesting to see how we close out 2020.
Do you love the market we're in right now in terms of movement and the opportunity for tech leaders to upgrade or up level or recruit net new folks into your organization?
No question, Hunter. And I know I've used this phrase before, but I really quite like it. We've also seen a lot of battlefield promotions through the course of COVID, right? As you've been working arm in arm with your CEO or CTO, or as you in that role have been, you know, working hard to ensure your company can operate, you might have been battlefield promoted, so to speak, to a bigger job, a larger scope. And then that's created an opening on your team that you've needed to fill, you know, through using someone in the search profession. So it's been a really interesting market.
Excellent. Thanks, Renee. Hey, Hugo, why don't you jump in here now? High level,
Sure.
What you're seeing out there in the marketplace, a little bit about diversified search.
Sure. No, diversified search. We're in this last quarter here. We are, I'll just say, we're really seeing that V. If you've heard us speak before, more in the summer, when you look at the entire search practice, we might have been 75, 80%. We're 100% coming in to this month. And as it relates to our CIO and digital practice, it's just, there's so much in the pipeline. You know, the healthcare sector just seems to be on fire in terms of need. So it's just an exciting time to really see a lot of activity for CIOs, chief technology officers, CISOs, data. There's a lot of need, and you know, data, not just you know, chief data officers, but the supporting cast, if you will, in the field of data and analytics, all supporting the digital efforts. I just think CEOs are doubling down on, you know, the digital transformation, and I think we're seeing it. I just think we're seeing it as a lead barometer here.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Hugo. We'll circle back to you in a minute. Hey, Brian, welcome to the program. You know, we hear a lot of from CIOs and technology executives in our community about how they're looking to lead compassionately and empathetically with their teams, listen better, and provide more encouragement and guidance for their teams. When you think of different aspects of leadership styles, what do you look for in a leader?
Sure. Hey, Hunter. How you doing?
Awesome. Good to see you.
Great to see you too. So we're seeing all kinds of different things out there, and we're recommending many different things to our technology leaders that we work with. You know, empathy, not everyone really knows how to lead with empathy, right? It's not the easiest thing to do, right? A lot of people think from the perspective of themselves, their initiatives, what they have going on. And that's really the polar opposite of, you know, leading with empathy, right? That's all about working to understand the people that, you know, you're working with and get into their shoes, right? Get into their mind. So you know, some of the things that we see happening and where things make a really big difference are, you know, focusing on building their teams up, right? And making them connected, especially today. There's certainly organizations that are coming back to work, some that are 30, 40, 50% back in the office, which is outstanding. I think in those environments where it's set up to do so and it's safe, I think that people should be encouraged to come in if it's safe, right? But there's certainly many states and many companies where they are not able to come in. They're still 100% remote, and that's going to continue through, geez, we're hearing, you know, in many companies, July 2021. So in those situations, I think what really makes the difference is making sure that they're especially the technology workers, right? That they're staying connected and that they're being listened to, right? You know, we do so much in the world of artificial intelligence and bots and things like that these days. You know, you could almost dehumanize the experience of work, right? But what people want, they want to be listened to. They want to be heard. They want to know that their boss cares about them, right? They want to know that they They have a say. They want to know their work that they're doing matters to the organization. And some people are having really tough times out there, right? Some people working from home, it's hard. The lines are blurred now between home and work. On average, we're finding people working about 4 hours longer a week. Many others are working a lot longer than that. But, making sure that constant communication is set up. And when I say communication, not just a buzzword, it's how do people like to communicate, right? Does someone prefer to communicate over text or email or phone or video? Everyone has a different comfort level. And some people may retract and not communicate if you're hitting them from a different channel. So making sure that, people are engaged that way. Group meetings, I think, are critical today. On a weekly basis, making sure that there's certainly the staff group meeting to go over, work that's being done. And then the monthly meetings to make sure that people understand what's happening at a bigger level in the organization, right? And that they're part of something bigger. And by all means, people need socialization. So if you can set up an offsite meeting, by all means, do so, right? Maybe that's groups of 4 or 6 people offsite at a restaurant. That interaction where we've done that, or even, golfing if you can, whatever it might be. People might walk into that environment a little bit down, a little, things have been tough, challenging. And after just minutes, the smiles, the connections, people really get reinvigorated and come out the other side a lot more engaged, re-engaged, and they're really important things. One other final thing on that topic I'll say is, being empathetic, really, as people are working with their teams and teaching their leaders to lead and drilling it down all the way to the teams, the phrase of, how can I help you, goes so far, right? And it's something I personally try with all of my staff and all of my leaders and the division heads and clients. How can I help you? Because some people are really having difficult times. So I think that people really genuinely appreciate when someone is offering their help and assistance, and it allows them to open up and really re-engage and feel comfortable that they can be open and honest with you and say maybe they are struggling, and you can help them through that situation. So I think that's also super important. And most importantly, stay positive, right? As leaders, you have to continue to stay positive, right? Sometimes it's getting tough for the staff and the workers and leaders, but most importantly, if you keep that positive attitude, make sure you're keeping your mind right and your actions right. And also, if you're doing that, then all of your leaders and your teams will also see that and also try to do the same.
That's really well said, Brian. I love it. So you really delivered. Thank you. I'll circle back to you in just a minute. I want to learn more about Judge. Hey, Renee, keying off what Brian just said about staying positive and building a high-performing culture with a healthy mindset, right?
No question, no question. And I can just relate a small example here within our firm of Pearson Partners, and I've seen it in our clients as well. But one of my colleagues organizes every few months or so a burger club, right? So we've now been, I think, to all the great burger spots in the Dallas area. And we had one just a week or so ago. And Brian, you're so right. We're a close team inside the 4 walls of Pearson Partners, but we all walked into the burger restaurant. We hadn't seen one another in the same room in a long time. And it was just great, right? Big smiles, lots of laughter. Goes a long way towards building your engagement with your coworkers. And obviously I've seen that in my clients as well. So that's huge as a leader. I really do think, just kind of building off, I think what Craig might have said in the prior panel, Hunter, the importance of IQ, EQ in this time, it's critical. CIOs and CTOs who may not have flexed the EQ muscles, so to speak, as fully as they had their IQ muscles up until COVID hit in kind of March, April, really have had to dig in and rely on those skills during this time. Critically important.
What does winning look like in this new role, this new environment, Renee? When you look at competencies, the top 3-4 things that you're looking for in the next individual that you place?
Sure. I think, I really don't know that they've changed, Hunter, all that much. I think you just put emphasis on different aspects. You always look for a savvy leader that has business acumen, right? Who gets the business model of the company, how they make money, how they save cost, right? So that hasn't changed. You always look for intellectual agility and someone who can deliver quality with speed. That one has increased in importance because I think CIOs and CTOs have really accelerated their deployment wish lists, right? Through these last 6 months, they've been able to move up priorities that may not have been slated till the end of 21 or 22, but now is the time. So they had to move those up and deliver them with speed and quality in the context of, is this good for the business, right? So I think when COVID's in our rearview mirror, we're going to look back on how CIOs and CTOs performed on those two dynamics in this window.
In this crisis, people that really perform at high levels, you can really see the difference, can't you, Renee?
Oh, completely. You really can. It's people exude leadership in different ways in all moments in time, Hunter, but particularly now during COVID, it appears to be the real, I don't necessarily like this word, but the real proactive or the real ahead of the curve, the real strategic thinking that shines in a moment like this.
Perfect. Well said. Thanks so much, Renee. Hey, Hugo, same question to you. Top things that you're looking for in the next placement.
I'm going to just add to what's said because it's true, but I'm going to put a little different twist on this, Hunter. And, you know, we're going to be, personally, I am looking for the compelling stories, the case studies of how you've done it, you know, and I'm looking for those things that we've talked about. So in that change, because we got to worry about change fatigue. We're doing a lot in a very little amount of time, and we're going to ask our team to do the same thing over the next 6 to 9 months. So, you know, I'm looking for the stories and how you've been able to lead transformation in your team, and I'm looking for those examples of empathy and caring and acknowledging success as a leader. So I just add to all the attributes, but I want to hear it in a story, in a compelling story or case study of what you've done in the last 6 to 9 months.
Storytelling is really important, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep, great. Thanks, Hugo, for coming on the program. Challenging time, but probably the best time ever, Hugo?
Absolutely. That's what I was mentioning earlier. You can just see it in the demand. This is from the top. You know, this is where you want it. The board, the CEOs, they're demanding the right leadership to make this happen, to double down on this. It couldn't be a better time. It's also a very challenging time because you got to be on top of your game. It's not just about the technology and understanding the landscape, but you got to have these leadership qualities that we've all of us have talked about.
Excellent. Thanks, Hugo, so much. Hey, Brian, back to you. The Judge Group is really pretty amazing, how you were diversified well into the pandemic, a global organization, global operation, AI, and all sorts of different practices. What's the update?
We're busy, man. It's, you know, going into this pandemic, our CEO, our chairman, and many others were a little bit scared, as I think probably the rest of the world was as well. We just didn't know what to expect. And, you know, at the very beginning, we certainly saw, you know, a bit of a pause across the world. But now it's crazy. You know, I'm not going to say the wheels are falling off, but the spokes are busting, right? Things are moving so fast right now. And it's happening across the IT space, the healthcare space, within engineering as well. And it's happening across our consulting solution practice. Our staffing practice is just going gangbusters. And, you know, it's giving me a new respect for the operations and to keep up with processing and automating everything on the back office side of things, because the volume is just, I love it. It's outstanding, right? On the front side, everyone's saying this is the best time ever. This is unbelievable. You almost feel a little bit guilty, but it's really challenging all the processes and operations and showing us just what upgrades, what new, you know, how to improve our processes internally and so forth. But we're seeing tremendous demand across consulting, staffing. Our training business is just gangbusters right now. Upskilling is tremendous out there. It's really important, right? As we're looking to recruit and probably even more importantly, retain people at customers, upskilling talent is absolutely at the top, right? People that are working from home, they want to be engaged. They want to know that their work that they're doing counts. They want to work on challenging projects. And they want to know what their career path is going to be. And part of that is making sure that that upskilling and professional development is happening. So, you know, we're seeing that directly correlate into our businesses, which has really been wonderful. But it's just really been incredible out there. And in the technology space, because of all the digitalization, I look at the world right now, and some of the hottest things, what we see is continuing to be cloud, data, digital, and cyber. I mean, those three things, we internally were calling it CDDC, just because there's just so much of it that's happening out there. And this pandemic, I believe, has forced every one of those initiatives to really go into overdrive. And that's from a talent perspective. It's from high-end strategy and consulting. It's from training. It's from global offshoring. It's everywhere. So it's really been an impressive time. So to your point earlier, is it an exciting time in technology? I'd say in my 20 plus years, this is the most exciting time.
Awesome. Hey, great job, Brian. Great to see you as well. Renee, really appreciate your support and engagement. Hugo, great to hear you. We'll see you soon, I'm sure. Stay with us, folks. We got a couple more sessions, and we'll be in touch. Thanks.
Thanks, Hunter. Thanks, all.
Thanks, Hunter.
Bye-bye.
Great to see you.
Bye-bye.
And next up, we have Trevor Schultz, the Senior Vice President, CIO of Ring Central. Trevor, great to see you.
Hey, Hunter. Great to see you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, so the title of this fireside chat is Change to Win, and the next phase is Good to Go. What is that all about?
Well, you know, I think there's a lot of discussion going on right now about what's next. You know, I think over the last couple quarters, people have been talking about now and the change that they have to enact now. And I'm more interested in where we have to go next, what the business is asking for us, and what a lot of people are calling new normal, next normal, you know, give it a name.
Sure, makes sense, a lot of sense. You know, you often talk about the systems of experience. You need to define what that means, and why is that relevant and importance to the enterprise CIO and tech leader?
So I think this is a new category in my mind. You know, I think everyone is searching for what matters and how they affect businesses going forward. And I think everyone has sort of heard the systems of record, they've heard systems of engagement, and now I'm suggesting a new category called systems of experience. This is a new and next evolution of those concepts. And I think it's important for digital leaders to grasp this trend. And the way I've been looking at this and the way I've been speaking to other digital leaders is, you know, we're in this service economy. And the service economy up to this point has been analog, and now it's digital. People have been giving it a name, digital transformation and whatnot. And this whole environment we're in has accelerated these systems of experience. And these are digital platforms that deliver mass service at scale. And, you know, if you give it some words, you know, what defines a systems of experience? It's something that's hyper individualized, it's immersive, it's communal, it's enduring. You hear people use concepts like omni-channel, but most important is that it's simple and intelligent. And it's driving, I think, a lot of the mega trends that are out there right now.
When you think of it, the platform wins, right? The ecosystem wins. And you think of the companies that really master that, they're just dominating in their categories, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can look at examples of what I'm categorizing as systems of experience. Think of like how healthcare is changing, telehealth. Think about how people who are looking at working out differently, like Peloton. People who are looking for new shopping experiences, things like Stitch Fix and M. Taylor. You know, you can go category after category, and what you're seeing are digital leaders who are grasping the systems of experience concept, and they're applying it to revenue, they're applying it to customer experience, they're applying it to employee experience. And, you know, we at Ring Central believe that this huge shift around business communications is also a systems of experience, and it's one that's tied towards the employee.
You guys are hitting on all cylinders right now in terms of revenue, customer experience, and employee experience. Talk to us a little bit more about what are you seeing?
So I think all three tie. You know, when I'm out talking to executives in terms of what is going on, where are they going, what matters, you know, first and foremost, people are talking about the employee. How we have people who are going to be able to work from anywhere. How are we going to attract talent in this new blended, flexible, hybrid work model? So if you're hiring the best, you have the talent that's looking for this flexibility, you create this seamless employee experience. People who can work from anywhere, have digital assets like RingCentral and others help enable them. And then if you have an employee that's engaged and it has this seamless environment to collaborate with anyone, anywhere, anytime, it also helps with your customer experience. Like that engaged employee now can engage in the customer, who, by the way, the customers are you know, demanding an experience with a brand. And so, you know, all those things I talked about earlier drive that new customer experience. And then, so you've got the employees driving the customer, and then ultimately it drives revenue. I mean, the companies that are going to win in the normal that's ahead of us are the ones who are truly grasping what it means to create that truly mass service experience for the employee, for the customer, which drives the brand.
Brilliant stuff, Trevor. Really great thought leadership there. Now, what kind of leadership skills does a CIO need today and into the future to drive this complete, holistic, I'll call it, ecosystem of thinking?
Yeah, you know, I'm out there a lot talking about just, you have to tear up the playbook. You have to think differently. Everyone keeps saying that, but I truly think that what's happened over the last 6 months has driven a hyper growth, hyper acceleration of what people are looking for out of companies. Things that seemed impossible to get done in a year happened overnight. And so you have to be a leader that's continuously learning. You have to be a leader that's willing to look at innovation differently. And you have to really understand what your employees need, what your customers need. You have to stop thinking about personas, and you have to stop thinking about, you know, classic thinking here. I truly believe the companies that win are already moving, and it takes digital leaders to actually, you know, lean into this new environment.
You know, I totally agree with you on this piece. I think CIO and the tech leader needs to lead differently, think differently, lead courageously, lead authentically, lead passionately, and really rewrite the rules on and how the CIO, the tech leader, engages with the board, the C-suite, the line of business. What other kind of piece of advice would you give us, a tech leader now today, thinking about trying to think completely different and rethinking their leadership style?
Oh yeah, I love this question, Hunter. You know, I just want to turn this on its head. You know, people have been talking about IT business alignment, IT business integration, you know, IT getting on the same page with the business. I don't think CIOs should be, they shouldn't be focused on getting on the same page with the C-suite. And what I mean by that is that they need to rewrite the book. They need to collaborate in writing this new book about convergence of all things: technology, people, process, data. They shouldn't be trying to understand, they should be leading. And it's such a mindset shift. And if you don't have this courage to take that mindset shift, your competitors will. And, you know, we at RingCentral believe that we need to rewrite the book. We need to rewrite the what is happening in unified communications and collaboration. And that's where people are gonna emerge out of this environment we're in right now as true winners, as true leaders of winning brands and winning companies.
I love the idea. What does winning really look like then in its fullest form?
Winning means that you've created a beautiful experience for your employees, that you've created an exceptional new level of experience for your customers. And those are driving new revenue streams, new ideas. I mean, people are coming to brands now and saying, I want to connect. And I want it to be intelligent. I want it to know who I am. I don't want to have to tell it that. Our employees are saying that. Our customers are saying that. And this is a whole brand new way of thinking. So that's what I go back to, systems of experience. This isn't about creating fancy new workflow. This isn't about creating, buying the right thing. This is about thinking differently about where things are going in the coming years. And I challenge everyone to start thinking about, it doesn't matter if you're in healthcare, it doesn't matter if you're in manufacturing, every single vertical, every single digital leader in every vertical has to be thinking about systems of experience. And, I'm super thrilled about this concept, and it's really catching steam.
So systems of experience, at the end of the day, it comes down to people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if I engage and want to buy something, I want it to know me. I want it to actually, help me and guide me, and stop having me be the one to have to search for it, because there's unlimited things that can happen in this environment. And, I think that this is just a category that's going to emerge, regardless if I give it a name or not. Digital leaders have to change their thinking. They have to really push themselves to go after this type of concept. This is the core of how people are driving their businesses, and this is where the winners are going to emerge.
Let's talk a little bit about what's uniquely different about RingCentral.
I'm just so blessed. I work at a company where I am in the future. People want to see business communications get simpler. They want it to be seamless. They want it to be reliable. They don't want to have to think about it anymore. They don't want to have to flip between a bunch of different apps, and they want to work from anywhere. It's got to be, it works from anywhere on any mode that if I choose. We at RingCentral believe that all of this needs to come together, and we're living in the future right now.
That truly is unique. And you must be working with all sorts of companies across industry and all sizes, right?
All sizes. I mean, we work from the small office, home office, all the way up to the Fortune 50. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're a company that was born in the phone, and we've moved into video this year. Fortunately, with everything going on, that played out well. And messaging. Most people don't know that we also have the messaging platform. So, and it all works in one app. I mean, I can flip between all three and not have to change a screen. And I know that seems like, okay, does that make sense? We're the only people who do it. And by the way, we're open. We have an open platform that allows you to integrate your current workflow into our platform. We are not a walled garden. We believe that the communications and workflow of a company should be everywhere. But we also believe that a tight integration into a platform like ours just makes the employee experience better.
Hey, Trevor, I understand people can learn more about RingCentral in the HMG marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. Take a look at the marketplace. I love what you've built there, Hunter. RingCentral's there, easy to find us.
Great to see you, Trevor. Talk soon.
Absolutely, Hunter. Always a pleasure, man. Great to see you.
Thanks now. So next up, securing the future. We have Chris Getty, Director of Product Management at Monti, Meredith Harper, VP CISO at Eli, Lilly and Company, Monti Knode, Director of Customer Success at Horizon 3 AI, and JJ Markee, CISO at Baxter, and Laura Whitt-Winyard, Global CISO at DLL Group. Hey folks, great to see you all.
Hi Hunter, thanks for having me.
Hey Hunter, good afternoon.
Thanks you all for making it. Wow, what incredible time we're in right now. This is the week from a week of history, right here in the United States. That's for sure, I think. Well, why don't we start with is Laura on the call as well?
I am here.
There you are. Great to see you, Laura. When you think about what's changed so fast, so quickly, how do you develop a collaborative culture? Culture really matters, right, Laura? How do you develop a high-performing collaborative culture of ops, dev, and security?
I think now is the time where it's more crucial than ever. There's a massive acceleration into digital transformation. And I think with that acceleration for digital, there's a lot of push of going to the cloud, DevOps, really enabling the business as quickly as possible. And I think it's important that security especially collaborates with the developers, with the program managers, and is really invested in the security by design methodology so that we enable the business to go at the speed they require.
Got it. A little bit about DLL Group.
Yeah, so DLL Group, we're a global company. We are in 35 plus countries. So we're slammed with regulations all around the globe. We are a leasing company, and we are a wholly owned subsidiary of Rabobank out of the Netherlands.
Gotcha. Great. Stay with me. I'll circle back to you. Thanks so
Sure.
much for jumping in there. Hey, Meredith, does the microphone work now? We still don't have sound. Do you want to try dialing in? Literally just dial in and we'll circle back to you in just a minute. Hey, Monti, you want to kick it off here a little bit about Horizon 3 AI and your background?
You bet. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Monti Knode. I'm the Director of Customer Success for Horizon 3 AI, a small data-based company that is really focused on cybersecurity right now. Just retired from the military after 26 years as a colonel in our Air Force, where I was a cyber operations officer, and I got to grow up in special operations, do some cool things there, and then do some cool things in cyber, and now with Horizon 3, really getting to help grow something that I'm very passionate about and surrounded by a lot of people who are passionate about it as well in cybersecurity.
Hey, what's unique about the company?
So what we do is we give an attacker's perspective. We definitely prioritize vectors over vulnerabilities. So you see a lot of alert fatigue and people who are very capabilities poor, but tools rich. And a lot of the capabilities that we're looking at right now with security companies, and there was just an article done on is security being selling a lemon to a lot of the companies that are out there because they're not very happy with what they're getting. So what we're trying to do is turn that map around, to use a military colloquialism, and give an attacker's perspective so that you can see exactly what matters most, and then get after it and fix what matters most, because that's been something that's been so frustrating. I was a former CIO and CISO, and it was so frustrating when somebody else, like an attacker, knew more about your network than you did. So that's what Horizon 3 does. Pretty good at it so far.
Excellent. Thanks for being here, Monti. Good to see you. Hey, Chris, can you hear me there?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. You know, when you think about the expanded threat landscape and Avanti, a little bit about Avanti, the company, what's uniquely different about you all, and what you're thinking about right now in terms of trends and what you're tracking.
Yeah, absolutely. So Avanti, you know, we have accumulated a number of technologies over the years, and we're focused on helping companies to improve the areas that matter most. Discovery of, managing, securing, and serving your business. So this is a variety of technologies. Security is not just a silver bullet that you can go to the next security event and buy off the shelf like that. It has to be something that is pervasive throughout all technologies across the organization, that is a mentality that you bring, a strategy that you execute. And that's what we're here to try to do for our customers, from the basics of preventative security, traditional technologies like patch, app control, privilege management, to new technologies like zero trust access control. And yeah, happy to be here.
So when you think of this whole now work from anywhere point of view, and soon to be the hybrid model, how can Avanti help assist organizations embrace this future of work now, or the future of the organization here right now?
Yeah, that's absolutely a good question and very relevant to a lot of people right now. This shift has caused all of our traditional ways of thinking to kind of, you know, it's basically broken the mold. We don't have a traditional perimeter anymore. We don't have a traditional way of managing devices anymore. I could have a user access an application from a device, and any of those three things could be a user that I expect or not, a device that I manage or have no idea about if it's a BYOD situation, and applications that could be on my network, in the cloud, virtually anywhere. So with that, this rapid shift to remote work had taken struggles that organizations had already been feeling and pretty much exacerbated them significantly. So now there was a scramble to be able to workers, which many.
Hey, Chris, I think you broke up there.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, you're back. Keep going.
Perfect. So with this shift to remote work, companies have had to make quick and fast decisions, like opening up remote desktop externally. But doing so has opened them up to new exposures. Like, I could phish a user, get their credentials, and just, you know, come right in through the RDP session because I'm somebody you know and trust. So to enable this new world of remote work, we need to make sure that we've got technologies that, again, can manage a user no matter where they are, identify that user and that there's somebody we trust, and the data and applications they want access to that they're actually authorized to have access to. So it's a rapidly changing world, but one that there are technologies available today to help address the challenges for.
Excellent. Thanks so much. JJ, are you out there?
I am.
I see you now. Thanks for coming on the program. A little bit about Baxter and the context of your role as the CISO. Paul Martin is a really great friend.
Yep. And unfortunately or fortunately, I've only been with Baxter about a year, and Paul was actually one of the reasons I joined, and he recently retired. So we have a new CISO named Talvis Love, who is very much going to carry the torch in Paul's stead. So Baxter as a company, we are in the mostly in the pumps and bags business, so dialysis and medication delivery, nutrition, anything you can put in a saline bag for delivery. We are in pretty much every country in the world and have 53 manufacturing sites globally. I've been with Baxter about almost a year now, and I'm in charge of the security, cyber, whatever else you want to call in the big bucket, but mostly cyber related and IT infrastructure, etc.
What keeps you up at night? What keeps you up at night when your phone rings in the middle of the night?
Well, I'm sure I'll have the same concerns as Meredith, which really is a lot around the recent ransomware attacks. So you see a high vulnerability and a leverage point that bad guys are using in order to attack industries that will pay and have a requirement and need to pay to either protect patient lives or deliver product to people. So ransomware has been very, very prevalent over the last few months and has ramped up even more so in the last week with the FBI and CISO announcing a large awareness campaign around the attacks that are going on in the healthcare industry. So I think that's the most prevalent in the near-term space. If you go out to the mid and longer-term space, the things you'll have are changes in privacy law. California just passed theirs. So there's a lot of privacy regulations, and that changes the game a little bit on how healthcare companies collect and handle and manage data, even though we're getting to more consistency with Europe. But there is nuances within each country. And then a corollary to that one also is now data localization, where you start seeing a lot more countries enacting and erecting barriers to say all data of my citizens need to stay in my country, which is almost the antithesis of the internet. So, we've spent, lots of money going to the cloud and optimizing and having single services. Now we're going to be kind of chopping those up into little pieces to serve little countries and different markets around the world, which will create a lot of inefficiencies in the way we've been building our services. So those are probably the near and a little bit more of the mid to longer term concerns that I've got.
Gotcha. Great. Thanks, JJ. Stay with us. Go on mute if you can. That'd be great. We'll try you, Meredith, one more time. Meredith, you there? Still, no. Can you call in? Call in? You are? Okay. Strange. Hey, Laura, over to you.
Hunter, I would like to congratulate Meredith on being elected to the HISAC board, even though she can't respond. So that's a big honor. So you've got a very good panelist on this, besides the rest of us.
Thanks, JJ. She is actually clapping and saying she's very happy and appreciative and smiling. Very good. Laura, when you think about securing the enterprise right now, and what do you think about the whole idea of automating security in the DevOps cycle? We heard a little bit about that earlier from.
Yeah, sure. And my connection might be a little bit choppy. choppy as well here quickly. So if I break up, I'll join back shortly. Yeah, I think it's pivotal. I think if we realize that developers and product managers are our internal customers, from to get in on the ground floor, automating the secure coding scans, automating the reviews, and it's really going to, number one, reduce the number of vulnerabilities, but number two, it's truly going to help us prevent rework of having to go back and fix something that's already been rolled.
You're chopping up a little bit there.
Sorry. Can
No
you
worries.
hear me okay now?
Yes, right then we could.
Okay, sorry. I'm telling you, my power is gone out 4 times today at my house, so I don't know what's going on here in Pennsylvania. Oh, Meredith is left again. Sorry. So yeah, I think this partnership, especially nowadays, with are difficult to partner with the business and with the development teams, and would be if you're physically in the office, so, scanning and secure coding in the very beginning.
We're having a hard time making it out. Stay with us for 1 minute. We'll try again here in a minute. Monty, over to you. When you think about delivering value and looking at ROI on security initiatives to the board and the C-suite, what comes to mind?
So, and I want to say I've heard Laura speak to this topic before, and she's got a great way ahead on this. I think that's been one great thing about this time is that people are actually listening to a CISO and a CIO. Maybe a little bit more companies are realizing just how much digital transformation matters to their business transformation. And so what you've got to do when you're up at that area speaking ROI, you definitely got to speak that language that the board's wanting to hear. So often security is viewed almost like a boat anchor or a compliance checkbox, and just some pain that somebody wants to make go away or hand to somebody else. And as security professionals, we've got to make that sale very clear to the C-suite on how security protects the enterprise, protects that business operation, let alone that company brand and reputation going forward. We've all seen some of the breaches happen and how that's absolutely destroyed credibility and customer base. And that's something that security, hopefully we can convey in a more effective way to those partners at the top.
Excellent. Thanks, Monty. Appreciate it. Hey, Meredith, we're going to give it one more try. No. Can't hear you. Over to JJ. What's new since the pandemic for you?
I think the pandemic has been actually an opportunity for a lot of people. You've got both sides. You've got the pain and challenges, but I think it's also unleashed a lot of creativity within companies to solve problems. I think you have had historical barriers that people may or may not have wanted to tear down, let's say from a process flow. Digital signing is probably a good thing, electronic signatures. A lot of companies have been hesitant. A lot of companies in manufacturing spaces for a long time, like the wet signatures. This has kind of put that in stark contrast to say, okay, how many wet signatures do we really need? Because right now they're really, really hard to get, and you're going to be shipping documents all over the place. So digital signatures has been one of those areas that has really said, okay, this is an opportunity to meet the need. Telemedicine is another one that says, okay, it's been a promised product for many years. Now it's actually taken off. So, I think a lot of the time you say, okay, what's new in COVID? There's a lot of innovation that's going in. And so there's a lot of new opportunities that are being created. The unfortunate side is a lot of the things of the way we have done things in the past are failing miserably. When you go into the hotel restaurant space and the whole entire leisure industry has been decimated. So you get you know, a lot of unfortunate pain. At the same time, you're having a lot of opportunity for new advancement for people to say, okay, how do we collaborate? You know, you mentioned a little bit about collaboration, better, different, and it's, you know, the emails are going away. You know, team calls are on the increase, WebEx calls, whatever you want to call it. But the utilization of those tools has, you know, skyrocketed. So I think, you know, at the principle, people do want to collaborate, people do want to have interaction, and people do want to achieve the same goals as before. But it's really been, you know, your opportunity to do it differently. So I think the opportunities are there for people who have their eyes open and are willing to kind of step up and be aggressive and just say, okay, maybe we did something the same way for 20 years and, you know, we no longer can do it that way. So let's look at a better or different way to do it.
Very thoughtful. Thanks, JJ. Appreciate the answer there. You know, over to Chris. You know, Chris, recently Avanti announced the acquisition of Mobile Iron and Pulse Secure. How will both these acquisitions help your customers?
Yeah, so, you know, this goes back to the strategy for Avanti, which is, you know, how to help our customers to bring what's in our environment. To manage our environment, we need the right technologies to be able to, for that we're able to discover, identify what needs to be managed and manage it properly. We need good security technologies to not only prevent, but also to control access throughout our environments. So Mobile Iron and Pulse Secure are really coming in to help us with two of those key strategies. Mobile Iron around the management. I need to be able to manage traditional clients. I need to be able to manage, mobile devices in a more modern way. Most organizations haven't fully achieved that transition yet, so they need to straddle both the traditional and the modern management, and they need a platform that can help them to achieve both. And that's the benefit of bringing Avanti's client management and Mobile Iron's mobile management together. The security side, we've got some great, preventative capabilities. Again, we've got industry-leading patch management. We've got a very robust app control and privilege management capability already. Pulse Secure really brings in a new layer of much-needed security. So EDR came into the security space and large assertions as to what it would do, but it's hard to tune, takes a decent skill set to maintain, and if you haven't done those preventative things, it ends up with so many events to have to go through that you miss those critical items that come in there. Going to the topic of modern day ransomware, these ransomware attacks are no longer just throwing ransomware malware into the environment and hoping it hits something. These threat actors are in your environment. They're behaving like a persistent threat actor, and they're able to get very stealthy very quickly. So the preventative capabilities will only hold them at bay until they find that chink in the armor to get in. At that point, if you're reliant on EDR to spot them, are they going to get lost in the noise of all of the events? Are they not going to get spotted because they've compromised a credential and now they're masquerading as somebody you trust and tools you expect? So this is where Zero Trust from Pulse Secure really comes into play, providing access controls and a 360 visibility, premise to cloud, client to mobile device, getting that visibility and forcing threat actors to take more risks, which make it so technologies like EDR are going to be successful in spotting those events as they happen, instead of a threat actor being able to go stealthy on us and be able to go under the radar. So those are two very key pieces of the Avanti strategy to help us strengthen our approach and help our customers to be successful.
Hey, Chris, thanks for coming on the program. Thanks for your support, and I believe you're in the marketplace as well, so great job. Guys, that's a wrap today. Monty, final comment, final word? Monty?
We're in a great business, Hunter. Glad to be a part of it.
Exciting, right? Real exciting time, right? You agree, Chris? Laura, final comment? Great to see you. Guys, what a great summit. Sorry about the technical.
I would just say use this opportunity to secure the heck out of everything.
One more time. Hey, great time.
That for me, Hunter.
Thank you. Great time to be a tech leader, guys. Another great summit from HMG Strategy. Apologies on the technical glitch there. We'll smooth it out next time for sure. A big shout out to our partners, Better Cloud, Darktrace, RingCentral, Avanti, as well as Rimini Street and Okta and the HMG Marketplace. Big shout out to the Philadelphia SIM chapter. Appreciate a relationship going on some 8 years long and strong. And all of our presenters and speakers. I'd like to invite August Plicio to the stage. August, are you there with us? And we're great to see you coming in from your studio office in New York. I see, that's great. August is our key, in addition to social media here at HMG, August leads the HMG recognition program. August, take this portion of the program away. Let's go.
Thanks, Hunter. And thanks everyone for staying on the line right till the very end. So we're recognizing Laura Whitt-Winyard today, a global CISO for DLL. She was on our last panel and we had a couple technical glitches, but otherwise some really great thought leadership that you were sharing today, Laura. Just want to give everybody a little bit of background on Laura. She's a visionary cybersecurity, privacy, compliance, risk management leader with seasoned experience in creating and leading highly effective and successful risk management programs, products, and services. She's a change agent. She has fostered extensive hands-on enhancement of cybersecurity programs. Laura's taken on a diversity of roles in IT and security across an impressive career, including security management positions with Bloomberg and Comcast. Now as global CISO with DLL, Laura has built a robust network and team of IT and cybersecurity specialists, leading DLL to a higher security maturity level in more than 30 countries. Part of Laura's special touch, she lives and breathes security, staying on top of global cybersecurity news from the moment she wakes up each morning. Laura, you're a one-of-a-kind leader, a passionate CISO. We commend all of the important strides you've made and congratulate you for winning this award.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to receive the award, but in reality, I owe it all to the cybersecurity professionals that surround me and the cybersecurity community as a whole. I would be nowhere without them, and I just really love the security community, and I'm so grateful for them. And I absolutely adore my team at DLL, and they're just really top-notch security professionals.
Congratulations, Laura. Great reception speech. And we look forward to working with you in more summits going forward.
Thank you. I look forward to it too, Hunter.
Take care. Another great summit. August job as always. Folks, please reach out to your network, refer folks into the HMG summit model and other services. And we look forward to the next time we're together. Be safe and lead on.